1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Okay. Hello, internet world. Welcome back. This is Norma Joe. So, I think in the last episode or two, when I was reading Cream of Hell, I mentioned that I tried doing the same premise a bunch of times in different stories. Basically the same exact shit, but just slightly different, and, oh my god, the cats are all mobbing me now. Slightly different, and with different titles. But it's pretty much all the same. I was trying to do this whole thing of, like, people from different time periods mixing and stuff like that in some kind of, like, purgatory or something. Anyway, this is, I pulled a book off the shelf, and it just so happened that it's the exact same shit as last time, but under a different name. In fact, I don't think this has a name. But it explicitly says it's a play. So you have to imagine some kind of theater production, okay? So maybe that'll make it more fun. Okay, let's get into it. The play begins on a dark stage, with just one dim spotlight in the center, and Kellern laying in it, unconscious on the floor. Then it's funny because I didn't describe him. I guess later I wanted to go back and describe him, so this is what he looks like, apparently. And it's on the other side of the... Okay, like, this is, like, the page right here. And then you see this little line right here? This is going over here to, like, the other side of the front. And this is... Why is this doing this? It's always trying to fucking update. I missed old computers like what I had when I was in high school that never fucking update. This right here is the description of him. So, here you go. He's a big, sturdy man who is dressed like he's from medieval times. It looks like his clothes were once pretty nice, but now they're filthy, ripped, and bloody. He has long copper red hair, and his hood is knocked down. His hair is spread all over the floor. And then on the side it says, and chainmail and armor. Oh, and chainmail armor. I don't know where that's supposed to go, though. It's just kind of like a little carrot. Okay. After a couple seconds pass, he is approached by a female demon and a neuter demon, who creep towards him in a skin-crawling manner out of the dark. They're basically nude, but their bodies are all red. They have fake, limp demon tails that are tied around their waists. So I guess they're wearing, like, body stockings or something. You ever see Santa vs. the Devil? Or it's really just called Santa Claus. We call it Santa vs. the Devil because that's what happens. It's kind of like that. Where is it? Fake limp demon tails that are tied around their waists. The female has a bow on her wrist like Eeyore. That's funny. They wear red masks of distorted, frozen human faces. Oh, that's creepy. Their own wide and curious eyes peer through the eye holes. See, when I was, like, in my early mid-20s, I would always do this shit. Like, I would only write on one side of the page because I didn't want the ink to bleed through, because I thought that was annoying. But nowadays, I would never do this. I'll probably write another story on this side or something. Oh, you know what sometimes I would do? Especially when I was writing my zombie story, like, I would go through the whole notebook writing this way so that it wouldn't bleed, but then when I got to the back, I would, like, turn back around and start writing this way. So it's like when you read it, you're basically going, like, boop, boop. You, like, turn the page and you ignore everything on, like, the left-hand side. You only read the right-hand side. And then when you get to the back, flip around and start going backwards on the left sides. So, yeah. Okay. They wear matted red wigs, which are dirty fire engine color. They crawl all around Kellern like interested cats. I know about that. That's what was just happening to me right here. And poke and prod him cautiously. I like to imagine that they have little, like, pitchforks or something. But I probably meant just with their fingers. Female demon. I want him. He looks so rich and creamy. She goes right up to him and puts her lap under his head. She puts her lap under his head. Oh, okay, she put his head onto her lap. And his head on her lap. What? Okay, that's like the same shit twice. He's turned on his side, and she slides her hand under all his clothes to fondle his back and shoulders. Nice. Neuter demon. His soul isn't ready yet for reaping. She pauses and hunches her back angrily. She-demon. Are you challenging me for him? Neuter demon. No, if you kill the little life inside him, the master will punish you. She-demon. What life? He looks pretty dead to me. She looks down at Kellern and rubs her hands on his face with desire. She-demon. Darkly. I don't believe you. How could there be anything left inside this body? Look at how much blood is gone. Neuter demon. When he was alive, he was loved for a night by a demi-goddess of the nomads. He had no idea she was such a powerful witch. He was so distracted by her sex spell. He didn't know she put her seed in him. She-demon, hissing, that's impossible. How could a, insultingly it says in parentheses, stupid, slow, clumsy, ugly man ever gain the sacred power of birth that only females are capable of comprehending? Enraged, she jumps upon her hands and knees. For a second I thought she was going to be like doing handstands, which would be kind of cool. That would be really creepy if she just starts like walking on her hands like around the place. That's kind of cool. Kellern flops heavily off her lap back onto the floor. She crawls around to his side, climbs on top of him, straddling his waist, and angrily rips open his clothes in the front. Chainmail, tabard, flag, tunic, and everything with one violent motion. I like the idea that she can just rip his chainmail open like it's just a t-shirt. That's pretty dope. And I can imagine like the little rings flying all over the place. She grabs a dagger out of her belt, which becomes her tail, and holds it over his fuzzy, dirty belly as if she's gonna stab him. Her other hand checks his stomach for any sign of life she can feel, but doesn't seem to find anything. She-demon glares at her partner. I don't believe you. This is one of your fucking lies. Is this whole thing gonna be with demons, or is he gonna meet the other people in purgatory? I'm not sure. This might be this might be the whole thing. Neuter demon. You can see for yourself then. I'm not Lucifer. I just send his messages. Stick him. See if you're right. Risk the punishment. She hesitates for a prolonged few seconds. Her grip adjusts on the knife, sweaty and going crazy with anxiety. Demons have anxiety. Finally, with a frustrated half scream, she drops the knife on the floor, unable to do it. She-demon, screaming, God damn you, Satan! I hate you! I hate you! She goes on screaming and cursing Satan as the light slowly dims and a red filter comes over. The light diminishes completely, and she wails quieter and quieter as the two demons exit the stage in the dark. Why is she pissed off? Because she couldn't kill him, I guess? Or she couldn't take his soul? At last, when they're gone, there's some silence. A quiet electrical humming can be heard. It gets gradually louder as the red filter spotlight comes back on Kellern. The buzzing suddenly ends. He sits up sharply. He pauses and looks all around, confused. He staggers up on his hands and knees, crawling, and finally gets up on his feet, looking around again, walking around the stage as if he's been hit in the head, as the red light follows him around. Kellern, hello? Is anybody there? He stops for a moment, groaning softly and rubbing his head and then his arms like he's badly sore. Kellern, hello, answer me, where am I? And he hears a thump from behind him and he turns fast, reaching for his sword, but he looks down when he realizes he's been disarmed. He starts searching through all his mangled clothes, but everything he carried has been taken from him. He curses under his breath. Kellern, where are you? I'll kill you, goddammit. Come out now, damn you. He staggers all around the stage, all agitated, until he finally stumbles into a large box, cutting short his yelling. He stands himself up straight and starts checking out the box with a mild interest. Another voice. Hello. He jumps and looks around. Kellern, who's that? Voice. I'll tell you, but you have to promise me you won't kill me. Deal? Well, that's not much to ask, right? Kellern sighs, still looking around. I swear it. I won't harm you. Not unless you threaten to harm me first. Voice. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. You're new here, huh? Kellern hesitates, answering. Where is here? Voice. I'll tell you. Open the box. Kellern hesitates again. He wonders if it's a trap, but he goes ahead and opens the top of the box. As he's occupied, a second stranger creeps up behind him and right on the edge of the spotlight sets down a dog cage. A big dog cage or a small dog cage? He gets down silently on his hands and knees and crawls inside the cage. It must be a big enough dog cage for a human to go in. This play is funny. It's very avant-garde, of course, because I wrote it. Kellern steps back from the box, not yet noticing the second stranger behind him. The first stranger stands up from within the box and stretches. He is a young guy with a boyish haircut and wearing a casual button-up shirt with short sleeves and jeans. He steps out of the box as Kellern eyes him suspiciously. That totally went in one ear and out the other. Let me read this again. Okay. He's just some guy. Kellern, why do you look so strange? Where are you from? Stranger? Oh, stranger. Me? I don't know why I said stranger, like it was a question. Stranger. Me? I'm from LA. Kellern, where's LA? And it's spelled like ALAY. Just funny. You know what's really funny is this is before I watched, not fucking Road Warrior. What is the name of that movie? Easy Rider. This is way before I saw Easy Rider, but there's a scene in Easy Rider near the beginning when they say they're from LA and that guy that lives on the farm, he's like, LA? Is there such a thing? Or something like that. So it's essentially what's going on now. Stranger tries not to laugh. Wait, that's not trying not to laugh. No, LA. Los Angeles. I think that's what they say in the movie, too. Kellern. I've never heard of it. It must be far away. Yeah, at least he knows what's up. He's like, well, I don't know. It must not be near where I'm from. Yeah, no shit. How do you speak my language, then? Stranger. I thought you were speaking my language. Oh, you know what's funny is I was listening to the Twilight Zone podcast today in the car, and I binge listened to it, and the episode that I was listening most recently to, or one of them, was one where they had a part in it where they said like, oh, we're really, like, we don't really, it was aliens, they were like, we don't really speak English. They're like, you just, perceive us speaking English because we're getting inside your head and programming you to understand what we say in whatever your native tongue is, or whatever. So maybe I was channeling that when I wrote this. Let me see. Kellern growls, looks around again. There is some powerful black magic at work here. I don't like this place. Well, friends or enemies, they should know who I am. And so should you. He stands himself up as straight and regal as he can, despite his bloody, pale, and sickly appearance. I am Kellern, of the island's western edge, the amber-haired butcher of men. Is that what they call him? He's not, is he gonna say, oh, here he goes. I am son of the warlord Kellern? It's Kaerin, and the cousin of Cicella. Okay, so I'm assuming because he has red hair, and mostly not because of that, but because his name is Kellern and his dad's name is Kaerin, that they're supposed to be Celtic, some type of ancient Celtic, because they have all those K names and or names with a K sound. But what I've learned is that they usually don't spell it with a K. They usually spell it, they usually use a letter C for the K sound. Yeah. I think that's more Celtic. Because, you know, Celtic, the word itself, has a K sound spelled with a C. And, I think to use the C as a S sound is more like a Greek thing, you know? But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, apparently that's the entire fucking story because it ends here. You see this? So yeah, just this little Lord of the Rings style. I am son of blah blah from blah blah or whatever. But then it just ends. So I guess him and the dude from LA were supposed to have some adventures together. That could be a funny movie. I could imagine that being a funny movie. Like, you know, I always like those movies, like Kate and Leopold, even though I didn't actually see that, but I like the idea of it, and Time After Time and all that stuff, where somebody from the past has to like interact with people from the present, and you know, once again, I don't want to tell my whole fucking Thor story. There was a video where I told the story of Thor and why I think it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And why I couldn't get all the way through it. I still have never seen the second half of Thor. And everyone says Thor Ragnarok is supposed to be like amazing and so great and a great movie and stuff. But I'm just like, I don't know. I have huge prejudice because of how horrible Thor 1 was. And anyway, yeah, but I like those fish out of water stories. I like when people have to like adjust and they first come to Earth or the modern age or whatever, and they're all like dumb and they don't know what's going on. They're just hella confused. They walk out in the street and people are like, oh, they must be crazy, and then they have to run away, and then they're like taken in by some kind soul. Like I like all that bullshit. Or at least I used to. I used to like it a lot. I don't know if I like it that much anymore. But whatever, I could totally imagine like a buddy comedy about like this LA dude and a fucking like Celtic warrior from fucking like a Celtic warrior prince, I guess is what he's supposed to be, or like maybe, I don't think he's a prince, but he's like he said he's a warlord's son, so, you know, maybe like a captain in the army or something, from like the year fucking 1000 or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue. But yeah, that was kind of a short one, so I'm gonna grab one more book because the whole rest of this book is empty, so more blank paper for me to use for my newest stories, which I don't know what the fuck that's gonna be. Probably just more disjointed. I feel like I write more and more disjointed shit. But then again, there was a time in my past when I wrote a really lot of disjointed, like just random kind of chain of thoughts stuff, and then I got more organized again. So, you know, I feel like it ebbs and flows and shit like that. Hey, I am planning to write a nonfiction book, my first nonfiction book ever, I think, unless I find another one. All about if I had, it's a theoretical book about if I was supreme dictator and I could run the systems of the USA however I want. It would be about how I'd run the schools. That's what I want my first book to be about, because I have a whole idea of how I'd run the schools. I'm gonna have, you know, every single grade spelled out, like how I would do it. I would radically change middle school. I would change high school, especially the last 2 years of high school. I would prepare the shit out of these kids. You wouldn't have the fucking problems you have nowadays. If I was in charge, our country would be like fucking top. Okay, because I got the fucking plans. The little kids, they don't have to change as much, but I have some changes I want to implement. And yeah, then I want my second book to be about like other shit, like other social shit, like how I would deal with homelessness. I have a whole plan for that. How I would deal with, I don't know, homelessness and schools are the two main fucking things, but I got some ideas for this country, so, yeah. Anyways, when I assume supreme dictatorship, you'll get to enjoy the fruits of my, my labors. So, okay, talk to you later. Well, I'm gonna turn this off, and then I'm gonna do another video, like, right after, so, you know.